Facts. As always, I am Matt Miller. This is episode 43, the big 43, boys and girls. Facts stands for what it's always stood for. Hey, it's Carlo.
Frequent answers and questions.
Carlo's favorite dirtbag, of course. You're very far from me.
Yes.
This is a new table, Nick.
It's a long table.
It is. Can you touch? Touch my hand?
I don't want to touch my hand.
Is this the table's debut?
This is the table's debut, Nick.
Welcome, table.
Nick O'Gean, everyone. Nick, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm okay. I had to work all day. It was terrible. I've been working 10-hour days.
Ugh.
Zachary Barberin, to your left.
Hello, everyone.
Do you have a nickname yet?
I don't know.
Well, maybe one day you'll get one. We also have Gregory Lloyd. Very far end.
Everybody.
He's playing some Pokemon Go, aren't you?
Yeah, just caught a Geodude, feeling really good about myself.
Well, too bad we're not talking about that. Yes, we are. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about a lot tonight. Okay? Number one, we're going to talk about not being able to find a place to eat, even though you're hungry. Hillary Clinton got endorsed by Mr. Bernie Sanders.
Bill the Bird.
I'm feeling it. Never mind.
We got some shit news, of course, the shootings. Not fun stuff to talk about, but I just want to know some of your thoughts on a couple main issues that exist within this. Brexit happened. Maybe we'll come up with some top 10 reasons why we should join the UN.
EU.
The EU. The UN. We can't do, we're already in the UN.
I think we created the UN.
Ladies and gentlemen, just stop listening right now. Matt doesn't even know what he's talking about. But first, before we get to all that,
My favorite.
let's
topic.
jump into Pokemon Go.
Oh.
Came out last Wednesday. The servers were down intermittently for about 15 hours a day. And then it blew up. It's a worldwide phenomenon, you guys. If we don't talk about this, people are going to make fun of us, okay?
I think they do that already.
So I'd like to go around the table, just kind of get everyone's first just impressions on it. How you felt about it when it came out, and what you feel about it now. Like then versus now that everyone's already into it. Like I got it on day one, just pretty hardcore into it. But I was just thinking it was just gonna be me. And there's a couple more people I saw, it's, I don't know, in the supermarket. I'm like, oh, you guys playing Pokemon Go. One day I was driving around in my car, take one of these gyms that exist in real life. There was a girl there playing Pokemon Go. And then it just escalated.
And not to mention,
and now it's out of control.
online, everyone's talking about it on social media. It's like
There was a ADOT sign on the freeway in
Yeah, I
Arizona.
mentioned that.
Arizona Department
what
of
did they say? I
Transportation.
didn't see that. I didn't see
It
that.
said it was a rhyme, of course, so that's what they love doing. Like they're,
Pokemon.
no, what is it, drinking,
Pokemon Go is a no-go.
drive, hammer, get nailed? No, it was like Pokemon Go is a no-go while you're driving.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts?
Drinking and driving goes together like peas and guacamole.
Oh yeah, that was the one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Not right.
I like the Star Wars one.
It's
Remember?
not right.
That was the best
Star Wars
one.
one.
So I think we've all, who's downloaded it here at the table?
All of us?
I-
Oh, you haven't?
I've downloaded it, but I haven't played it.
Okay, so let's start with me.
Because the server was off when I tried to first log on, and then I just missed the perk. I missed the boat. And I'm not really all that interested anyway.
But tell your experience, we've had some experiences though.
Yes.
Explain your experiences, and bring the mic just closer to you. I can edit this out if it makes a terrible noise. There you go, Nick. You're on, pal.
Oh. Whew. My experiences so far, there's a lot of people doing this. Apparently, from my calculations, everybody is doing this.
Approximately every single
Can
person.
you share the calculation with us, Nick?
Yes, I'll show you the month later.
I'll show you that later.
But we went to, me and Matt walked down to the lake that we just moved to.
Tippytown Lake.
Yep. And walked down there. Must have been what? Tuesday night or
Tuesday night around 11 o'clock by the time we walked over to the
There
main
was
park
like-
area of Tempe.
1,000 people there, just wandering around, no like faces in the phone. There was one really hot girl that was there at like 11 o'clock at night in the middle of a dark park by herself. I'm like, what are you
1,000
doing,
other
girl?
people by herself.
Exactly. By yourself. Let's be real here.
She doesn't have somebody looking out for her.
But
You
you
don't-
know,
you're not there
man,
in
she
real
could have
life.
walked off some direction hoping to find a Pikachu. She never did, and she came back to her friends, who had then left her for dead.
For that. That's a different game.
But yeah,
But,
so
can you imagine how many people would be doing this if it wasn't 110 degrees outside?
Oh, I'm sure it's
Yeah,
really
more.
it's crazy. I mean, I'm looking on social media, you see like signs of churches being like, "Oh, we're a Pokestop. Come on in and come inside to meet the Lord." Like different things like that. Or
I saw that.
I saw a library.
I'm
It was
looking for Pikachu, not Jesus.
So there's
Jesus is not a Pokemon.
Yeah, but I've seen signs. I've seen signs of like the library where they're like this library is owned by Team Valor or whatever. I don't know.
Valor? Do you mean? Valor's the word, right? Valor?
Sure. Yeah, you're right.
No, the one I'm looking at right now is Pokestop, which is there you can go in real life and you get little Pokeballs and stuff. Today, team X, Y, or Z, there's 3 different teams, gets 10% off. And it's a bar.
What?
So I guess maybe the next thing, I guess this is a good talking point.
That's
Good for
discriminatory.
business.
How do
It's great.
companies like take advantage of this? I saw there was some ad like on Craigslist about somebody who would drive people around.
Oh
going to
yeah.
different Pokestops.
I mean, no, the way that I see it is that this game is so huge that it's like a complete paradigm shifting kind of thing when it comes to mobile gaming. It's the biggest game, and it happened in 1 week
5 days is when it hit like the US like record.
for like mobile gaming history. And so the way I see it is like this is gonna change everything. I saw some article. Do you guys remember Sarah that we went to school with? Sarah Gray?
Oh yeah,
She posted something. She's a teacher. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
a teacher, and she posted something about like some article. I didn't read the article, but it was basically talking about Pokemon Go and how like that's gonna like that style of gameplay of like getting people to like go out and do things and how like that's gonna be incorporated into like
teaching.
Yeah,
Education.
Yeah, I completely like agree. I'm so thrilled. I haven't even really played it much, but I'm so thrilled that this game is just like such a phenomenon because I don't know. I've been a fan of Pokemon for like fucking 20 years now, and
Yeah, I'd say us like this whole table is like a perfect demographic.
Yeah,
Kids
like-
who grew up on the original games, and now every one of us has a cell phone.
it's such a brilliant concept. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, Pokemon in itself, and what a perfect way that they incorporated that. That is the coolest thing, is to see the way, like, I have a friend on Facebook, she doesn't know a thing about Pokemon, but she's a super active person, and that's what she likes. She likes that she's playing Pokemon, and she posted something about, oh, yesterday was so fun, we rode over 15 miles around Austin, and went to all these different, took pictures of Pokemon and different things like that, and she didn't grow up on Pokemon, she's like, she's a little older. I just think it's great. I think it's awesome.
I think the next one is when you walk by somebody who's playing Pokemon Go, you have to get in a fight with them and you can't leave until somebody's defeated. Like in the original Pokemons, and you're like, I just need to get past the person.
And you have to go
Okay.
all the way home. No, you can just wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
You're forced to fight them and you can't leave.
No, that's what I have heard though. I haven't played it much. Sounds like Matt, you maybe played it the most.
I played it. Me and Greg both have played it extensively.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah, to the point where if
We were
I'm laying in
outside.
bed, it's probably bedtime, and there's a Chansey outside. Big 8 Pokemon doesn't sound attractive, but it's rare, so I had to get it. Went outside to get a look at his face, everyone. Look at that face. Greg, you haven't talked yet. What are your thoughts on it? As a
Well,
game,
I was
as
gonna
a
say,
game, how
we
was it?
were so obsessed with that. We were out like Saturday or Sunday, longboarding in the park in 112-degree weather, just getting Pokemon. But yeah, I think I feel the same. Like when I first downloaded it, I was like, oh, all the Pokemon fans are gonna be into this and whatever. But I didn't think it was gonna extend past that. I mean, that's still a huge group of people, but
Still a gigantic group of people.
But yeah, I thought it was just gonna be, us, the nerds at work, we all were like, oh, we're so excited to come out, and then like, everyone at work plays it. Like, a lot of the girls play it, a lot of people who
Like,
don't even know about Pokemon.
yeah, people that you
Yeah.
know didn't play that shit when it was first out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 like 37-year-olds at my work are playing it now, and
Well,
both women.
exactly.
No interest in really Pokemon whatsoever.
Like that's what I was gonna say. Like the thing that kind of astonished me was whenever, aside from that Facebook friend that I know didn't like Pokemon prior, my mom like texted me like, "Oh, have you been playing Pokemon Go?" And I'm like, "What the?
I'm reading
hell?
about
Like,
it in the
This
paper."
is crazy!
Yeah.
Like everyone is playing this game.
Phoenix
I love it because not only is it great because it's a perfect format for Pokemon, but also like what a brilliant concept, and I'm glad that Nintendo gets that credit for because Nintendo's always kind of been about getting people like up and move around. So even though they didn't make it, because there's what's the company that did it?
Niantic?
Yeah, like even though they didn't make it, Nintendo has been always encouraging people to game in that kind of way, get up and moving and shit like that.
Well, it's interesting because their like stance on multiplayer forever has always been like, we don't really want you talking with anyone. And it's funny because in this game, you're forced to actually go talk to people in real life, so you can't be a dick over the internet. But there is no way to have friends. There's no way to talk to anyone. There's no way to even see other people unless it's like you see their little name up there when they've taken one of these points called gyms. But it's like it's the most social game they've ever released. But it's because they're getting people to actually go out and be social.
Yeah.
Instead of sitting in there.
And actually,
I am just so happy for Nintendo. I think it's so great.
My big question is how long is the main fervor gonna last? Because I feel like as soon as people start running out of Pokeballs and have to pay a lot of money for them, it's not gonna be as popular.
I feel like it might. I mean, it's definitely going to be a trend, but I mean, let's face it, Pokemon itself is going to be around for pretty much ever. Yeah, and I think at this point it's just the same way like for Marvel Comics or something, you know.
So the top 4 games that had like the most mobile use after Pokemon Go, just barely, is Candy Crush, which had 20 million online people. Pokemon Go was like
back in the
23.
heyday of Candy Crush?
Yeah.
Oh.
But that game stuck around for a long time, and a lot of players who were into that game, they were just into it. Like that was their game.
my mom still plays that game.
Yeah, I know people like Candy Crush, but who cares though? That game is like. There's nothing new there. Like this, I mean, Pokemon.
No,
is
there's not. But like the point that I'm trying to make is that
has staying power.
yeah, how much of a drop off did that game even have? And that game isn't like anything different. That's the reason why this thing is so popular. It's wild and new and crazy. So the one behind that, Draw Something, back in 2012, third place,
holy shit.
16 million people. But it was kind of just like once 50% of people stopped drawing and sending things. I mean, it wasn't fun unless you had like a bunch of little pictures you had to draw for people. So they're fishing it. After that, Crash Royale, and do you guys know what the last one is? Slither.io?
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty new one. It's kind of like it's like it's like the worm game where you go around and collect apples but I think it's against other people. So like
Oh, it's like Snake, but it's competitive or something.
Yeah, Snake was fun. I like playing Snake.
Yeah, that's the OG mobile game.
Jump across your snakes.
Nick,
Yes,
you have an opinion of an average person.
that's right. That's correct.
What is your opinion on this?
I'm not really hooked onto it yet, but I'm glad to see everyone into it.
Yeah, do you think you're going to? I mean, you
I don't know.
haven't played. You have it downloaded. You're kind of catching some stuff. Nick is not into it.
Right.
Do you think it could take off for you?
No.
You're like a week behind. That's the other thing now. If you're a week behind in this game, does it make a difference?
No, it can't.
No.
Why would it?
I don't know. Just because I feel like if everyone's already into this thing, you've already had the position of you're just looking at your phone. I mean, there's the negative side of this. You're just walking around looking at your phone the whole time. No one's actually talking to each other. They're talking to each other and stuff, but...
Well, you get really focused in on it, and then you don't you're not aware of your surroundings. Like I was walking my dog, playing it, and then all of a sudden there's this lady right there, and I was like, oh, that was kind of scary.
No, there was something I saw somebody fell into a pond. What about the fucking kid who found a dead body while he was playing it? Did you guys see that?
Yeah, no, I know that story.
I don't know that much about it.
That was pretty much the gist of the story.
A wild Jimmy Hoffa appeared.
But a wave of a bunch of those, at least the article that I read was basically making it sound like the person who was, the dead body she found was playing Pokemon Go. It's like, what?
It doesn't make any sense. All right, so what about, a couple things really, but what about what other franchises would fit that model? Because that's definitely other people are going to copy that whole idea of
there's going to be tons of copies.
Definitely. So I think I heard something about Walking Dead was going to try and do something similar. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be interesting. You could be a zombie or a human or something. That'd be cool.
Pokemon is by far the most perfect though.
Yeah.
They look like a walking dead.
That's the second thing I wanted to say is I think the important thing is going to be how they handle the updates. What kind of new things? I read I think it was today or yesterday that someone found in like the code of the game that the legendary birds are out there.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, Mewtwo and the legendary birds are
So
in their game.
they're out there somewhere.
Yeah, those.
But
Area 51.
But I think that's important. I think that's important is to keep the social element because that is the thing that's really. I mean, the game exploded because of word of mouth, plain and simple.
Facebook.
You know, and people doing it together. You know, and so I think they have to embrace the social element of it, and maybe they can do that by saying, "Oh, well, this was spotted here." I guarantee if they had a legendary birds release only in like one place of the country, you get people to fucking travel that country.
Yeah,
This is as big as like Beanie Babies, I'd say. You know, at least right now it is.
That's fucking. I think
People
it's
who know what it
great.
is and are obsessed with it.
I think it's great.
Well, this is like when
Send people apart.
Pokemon cards were popular.
Bigger,
right?
way bigger though, I think.
Yeah.
And
way
Pokemon
more
cards for
money.
little kids. Little kids told me you didn't have 20-some-year-olds, 30-some-years.
I was at Timmy Marketplace yesterday. I saw at least two 50-plus-year-old people playing. Like one guy was with like his grandkid, and he was like old, balding, gray hair. He was playing Pokemon Go, and then another like I saw a couple other like definitely 40 or 50-plus-year-old couple playing it.
Well, you know, and that's the other thing is like it's a really neat technology, the whole like augmented reality kind of thing. Like, like everyone's been talking about, you know, virtual reality and Oculus Rift and all these other things, and like meanwhile, Pokemon Go comes out of nowhere with the augmented reality. Like, I guarantee that's going to be a bigger thing now too.
Like going back to how you're saying, like it depends on how they handle the updates. I really hope because there's no competition, they don't blow it, and I think there's a very good chance that they might is the thing, but nothing is as good as like going out and catching Pokemon compared to, I don't know, playing what, Mario Kart Go?
Yeah.
Playing, I can't think of anything else.
That fits that model perfectly. No, nothing. Like that's by far the biggest one. But I don't know what, like, I mean, I don't know that much about it because I haven't played it that much. But
Here's the
there's no
it's-
PvP.
There's no player versus player in the game. It's not super deep. You just catch these things and you end up releasing them back to gain candy points or whatever that you use to evolve the same one over and over.
I thought you slayed them and crushed their bones into a powder.
That's what I believe happens, Nick. Everyone thinks that. Okay, some people think they go back to just the professor and they have a good time and they're like, no, I know they don't even make it there.
How do they evolve? Steps?
You spend
Nick, you give us your description.
All right. In the old game, they just kind of like shook a lot.
You're
Like
right.
they turned into something else. In this one, they stepped into like a ball of energy forms around them, and we don't know what happens in that ball of energy. I think there might be an infinity stone inside.
No, but I think what he was asking was how did you evolve them? What do you have to do?
Oh, you kill the other Pokemon, all the types. Like if you want like a Abracadabra, you have a whole bunch of Kadabra bits and pieces that you
caught a bunch
killed.
of them, and that's how you level them.
And then you make
can't
them
battle.
into little Kadabra cakes, and you feed them to your Kadabra, and it turns into an Abracadabra.
Very, very
so it's
close.
like
Let me give
Puzzle
an
and
example.
Dragon style?
Yeah, give me.
Yeah, so the example like with Pidgey, for example, you involve it into the next one, the Pidgeotto. You have to catch 4 Pidgeys total, and then you can make one of them into a.
I want a Pidgeotto, man.
You
Why
kill
don't
them,
you get Pidgey away?
you make them into little Pidgey cakes, Pidgey pastries, and you feed them to the one Pidgey, and it turns into a Pidgeotto.
Truth.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that really. But I can see why they do that because the catching the Pokemon seems to be the
Yeah, that is the
Yeah, you have to catch all of them, right?
Yeah, they need to implement a few more things in this game to make it perfect. I'd say out of 10, Greg, what would you? So you played it the most. If you were to review this game in a bubble, not going out to parks and seeing all these other people, what would you give this game out of 10? Because you played quite a few mobile games.
Well, if
Like, do you leave the top off as much as it actually has?
wait, okay,
Like, if you're in the beta
test.
test,
Oh.
do you what would you have given it out of like 10 if you had to score the game? And do you think it would have taken off as much as it has?
I would, if I was in a beta test, I'd probably give it a 6
Mm-hmm.
or so because it's not that good. I mean, it's not that good. Yeah, like I said, in a bubble, it's like kind of there's only 2 things you can really do, and it's fun to go out with friends and to go hunting and stuff. So that's the main fun of it.
That's what I've heard. Is that like the game itself is not really that great, but clearly, I don't know, it's a fucking phenomenon. So.
Yeah.